Nightfall here, and if you couldn't figure out from that intro, or if you weren't glued to your screens at around 10 a.m. yesterday morning, you missed the madhouse that was XDefiant. Arguably the biggest update this game has seen in a while, some might even say ever, launched yesterday morning. They finally brought in private matches to the game, and even though the maintenance time seemed to take a little bit longer than planned, everything seemed to go off without any issues. That is until about 2 hours in, when everything went kaput. My guess as to what happened is DedSec heard they were talking about scrapping their spider bots, and they just weren't having that. I will say it did sort of scare me for a minute, because 1 minute I was fine and waiting to load into a private match with some people, and the next thing I know I was kicked out, and when I tried to load back in, I got a message that said my account was locked, and I thought I had been banned for simply trying to play a private match. And based on some recent events and some other stuff that I covered recently, it's not too far-fetched to think that. But eventually, after some Foxtrot and Delta errors, I eventually did end up getting back into the game, and as much as I wanted to put this one on XDefiant, I can't. Ubisoft support made this tweet stating that it was affecting some other games as well, and it was just widespread. Just really convenient that on the day that private matches gets released in XDefiant, of all days, is when this happens. It's almost like someone is sabotaging this game. And I know that starts to sound very conspiracy theory-like, but it's just gotten a little bit too coincidental with all these missteps. But anyway, they were able to get it back up and running pretty quickly, and everything seemed to be working smoothly again, so let's go ahead and talk about these private matches. You may have noticed up until this point, I've been specifically calling it private matches and not custom matches. Well, that's because it's just a private lobby and nothing more. You can't currently change any of the settings like capture time, spawn time, ability cooldown time, or anything like that. Before you get upset, understand that this is in beta. So this is just the launch, just bare bones to make sure the groundwork is laid and sturdy enough that it doesn't just break everything. I'm more than sure come season 3 with the private matches coming out of beta that they'll add a ton of customization options so that we can have even more fun in these games. But in the meantime, I did get a chance to play some custom games with some people, and it was kind of fun, but I could get the same from a public match or a ranked match. It was fun hearing someone tell me how awful and trash I was, and then winning a majority of gunfights against that person and dropping a decent amount more kills than that person, only for them to give me an excuse that they were warming up. And then they called me a, what's that word he called? A burger for using a double rapid fire on an M4, but joke's on him because I wasn't even using a rapid fire to begin with. I was only using a muzzle boost and a lightweight. Imagine trash talking someone so bad, and then you end up scoring less than that person, getting less kills than that person, losing a majority of gunfights to that person, and then also getting last on your own team. It's embarrassing, honestly. But whatever. Sounds to me like I'll need to get a 1v1 counter going for stream nights on Friday. But something else I got a chance to test out was a hide and seek type game mode that I came up with, and I wanted to do an infected type of game mode also, but because you can't switch teams mid-game, can't really do the traditional version of it, although I do have an idea to do something like that. But hide and seek on the linear maps was actually sort of fun. The biggest thing I was worried about with having a hide and seek type of game mode was the name tags would pop up even when people were behind cover, but that didn't really pose an issue. So I did manage to get a few people together to do some hide and seek on every single linear style map. And if you want to see that, I'll be posting that as members only content later this week. So if you want to see how all of that unfolded, make sure to hit that join button and make sure you're a member of the channel. If you don't see the join button, try the link in the description down below. But as far as the rest of this patch, I will say I think they went overboard on the weapon levels when they reverted the XP, because I now have weapons I haven't touched since they made the previous change where they upped it to 2000 XP per primary, like 2 patches ago, which is also the patch when they added objective XP. Guns like the M16 or literally all of my secondaries, and yet they're now all maxed except for one. So now the only things I have left to max out is one SMG, the PP19, one LMG, the M60, one sniper, the M44, fuck my life, and one secondary to level up, which I think is the Magnum, and then all of my weapons will be maxed out, which I'm not complaining about. Less work for me, and thank God I don't have to touch that damn marksman rifle again. But speaking of doing some work and having stuff to grind for, people have reported that some of their Ubisoft challenges were auto-completed, and not just the weekly ones either. We're talking about the core challenges. Now, I already had most of mine done, and the obvious ones like reach player level 300 obviously aren't done and is tracking accurately, but I will say my play the GS Commando 50 times is now at 22. It was previously at 1, and I damn sure haven't played them 21 more times. So I'm not sure what happened or how they added progress or completed people's score challenges, but somehow it happened. No word on if they're going to fix that or take some levels back from weapons. I doubt they will, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then one other thing I noticed, and I'm not sure if I'm just imagining things, but the netcode feels slightly worse yet again. And I swear with the last few updates, I've been dying further and further around walls, and it's almost regressed completely to preseason status for me at this point. It's insane. But aside from all that, they've now delivered on every single promise in Season 2 that they had laid out on the roadmap, except for one thing: player collision. We need to stop running into our own teammates, and we need to stop running through enemies. But we still have an entire month before Season 2 comes to a close, so there's still plenty of time to get that patched, hopefully. On the upside of things, the viewer numbers for this game on Twitch did go back up to where they were right before COD came out, so hopefully things are looking up. And just some feedback I've seen over the last 24 hours, it's pretty much as I predicted. Private matches aren't going to save this game just by being added into the game. And a lot of people have already said they aren't coming back for private matches. But private matches were never supposed to bring people back in waves. The goal here for private matches is for people to be able to have tournaments and stuff like that, and for content creators to make content out of these custom games, and hopefully would post that kind of content, stream it, and drive viewer numbers back up and get some new players back in and some returning players. And it's mostly working. I've seen a couple new players in my chat already. But overall, I think things are starting to trend positive, and I'll be live this Friday, so keep an eye out on my Twitter and the community tab of this channel for an estimated start time, probably around 7-ish p.m. Eastern time. I'll be doing some more custom matches, and I'm hoping either Friday or Saturday I can get the faction wars going, where it'll just be faction versus faction, and it'll be like a single elimination bracket tournament. So if that's something you're interested in helping me make, be sure to join the Discord. Link for that will be in the description down below. Also, if you're someone who can record your gameplay for that and send it to me, that would be a huge W as well. I'll need 7 people total overall, including myself, to make it 8. So it's going to be a first come, first serve. Teams will be balanced based on stats, and it should be some great content and a lot of fun. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. So if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel because I have so much more planned. These private matches have opened up an entire catalog of ideas that I can do. And also, how are you feeling about private matches? Is it something you'll play at all with friends or join in with creators? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next upload.